People often say that the best way to learn swimming is to jump straight into the water. I honestly feel the same way about AI. The best way to really understand AI tools is not just by watching videos or reading posts, but by actually using them to solve a real world problem. And what you see here, right on the screen, left side of the screen, is a production live application that is built using AI just in few minutes. The first cut was ready in few minutes, and the production grade application was ready in a couple of hours. Over the past weeks, I was watching a lot of AI enhancement videos, upgrade from Gemini, ChatGPT, and others. I was also playing around with AI vibe coding tools like Google AI Studio, Replit, Cursor, or Google Anti-Gravity. But at some point in time, I asked myself, okay, this is all interesting, but what can I actually build with all this? And then I looked for a real world problem. My wife, she takes a tuition, and currently she manages all of the student data, the parent information in Excel, and all the different batch details, the payment details, everything is done in Excel. Of course, Excel works, but since it is manual, it is prone to error, and it is also not scalable. So I realized, instead of adjusting our process to fit into an existing tool, why not build a tool around our own process? So that's how this idea came into the existence and converted into an application. Of course, there are existing tools or the apps that are available, but they don't fully support all of our feature requirements, or they're not customizable. So from idea to the full-blown application, this is the power of AI assisted development. So what used to take weeks or months with a full team can be now done in minutes, or rather hours, for a production grade application. And of course, as I said, the initial version is never a full version. I had to make more than 100 commits in order to make it working for a complete features testing and enhancing the different features. And within some time, I also sent this application to teachers and parents, and they could get onboarded successfully onto the application. So before I talk about the application and its features, let me talk about the different technologies or the infrastructure that I used to develop this application. As I said, I explored a bunch of tools. Of course, not just the Google Anti-Gravity. There are other tools which help us to do the same thing. Basically, it's a AI-powered platform to generate code. So here, all we do is we come and then we chat with this in a natural language. We ask what needs to be done. The clearer the prompt, the better the result. So once we give a clear prompt, it generates the entire code base, and it also creates something called as tasks. And we can take a look at the tasks that it is going to perform, and if you want to enhance anything, we could also add a comment and update that task. And once everything is done, it would also give us a walkthrough that on what is exactly it did in order to complete this entire task. That's the Google Anti-Gravity. So when we develop, it's all in the local, and it only connects to our local storage if we allow, but that's not a real application looks like. So we need authentication, we need a database, and we also need to deploy, and we need to host our code base onto a central source code management tool. And I have used Google's Firebase to host the database and to also create the authentication. And what you see here is a Firebase interface which hosts the database and which also helps in authentication. So different set of rules that I can create authentication. And to deploy this application, I have used Versal, which is a hosting and a deployment platform. And yeah, so here also you can see a bunch of details. If you look at the usage, the free tier itself gives you and use deploy our applications, and all the code is hosted on my GitHub. So as you can see here, there are more than 100 commits that I've gone through in order to make the application robust and the bug free and different enhancements, features. And you can also see that the complete readme file that explains what are the different key features this application has. So this application has mainly 3 personas: super admin to completely control the application, to also onboard new tutors, and to have the global settings. And we have admin, who is a tutor who manages the student details, creates students, assigns batches, maintains attendance or views attendance, and also create and then update the payment details. And we have member persona, who basically looks at the child's details like the attendance, the payment details, the tutor details. It is also built using the modern tech stack, so used front-end next.js, we have used Tailwind CSS for styling, so, and the backend, as I said, it's Firebase that is used. So here is the architecture. Yeah, so it has got the user and the client, and it has got authentication in order to interact with the Firebase, and all the front end is with using next.js. So being a non-coder or a non-developer, do I understand every line what the AI has built? Not really, but of course I can always interact with the AI and try to understand each line what it has done, right? And this is the directory structure I have used. Now let's come back to what this app delivers. As you can see, this is the dashboard for the tutor. So this has got the details of how many students you as a tutor has, and you can also track attendance, manage the payments, and you can see how many active tutors it has. I come to this feature in a minute, and you can see that all the different students details are maintained here. That is also grouped based on their grade, and you can also create new students, and you can select which grade, and you can also say which subject the student is enrolling for. Batches and maintain batches. So when you look at this batch, for example, you can say that you're taking on these many days. You can also have the option to select the alternate occurrence. So not every Sunday you take tuition, but alternate Sundays you can also do so. You can select the different time, you can say that. Yeah, once you're done with that, you can also look at the details of the attendance. So if you click on the days, you can see the different batch wise who are all the students available, and you could also see the students that were not available. And you can look at the payment details, right? You say that, okay, so these are all the students they have provided, and this is what I have collected, this is what is pending. And you can also look at for different months. So for January, if you click on the January, so by default it takes all the tuition amount and it says that everything is pending. Yeah. All right, and you can also add the syllabus details. You can also attach some files. So now let's go to the persona of the parent. So let me sign out. So when a parent onboards to the application, of course they can sign up, and there are also validations that are maintained. If member tried to create without adding the proper details, this would give some error. So you can say test parent for demo, client is test child demo, and you need to select. Again, if you try to create, it would also say that you need to add school. Let's say NPS school, and you say the grade as LKG, and you select the tutor. It lists all the tutors that are available in the application, and you can select the tutor. And if you try to create, again it says we need to have the email. Again, if you add the email as test email, it also says that we need to have the particular format. Of course, it doesn't really verify the email itself, but it just verifies the format. And you create the password. Let's say, all right, so now you create a parent account. So once you do that, the parent sees this window saying approval pending. So now when you come back to the tutor, remember I selected Shamanth as a tutor. So now if I click on this, there is this request that I have received. So when I click on this approve, of course I need to select a student in order to map to. So since I do not have the student already created, let me quickly go there and let me create the student. And here the student name is test child demo, and let's say for, yeah, we can also keep it blank. So now if I go back to request, so if I say approve, it lists all the students. Now I know that this particular parent is parent of the child, test child demo, so I would select that and I confirm. So once I confirm, so if I refresh the application from the parent, so I see that okay, the now student is active, it is LKG, and the payment is pending. Since I have not assigned any batch to the student, it shows that there are no batches. So if I come down, I see that there is one unassigned student. So I can go here and then say select a student, assign, and assign a batch. now if I come back here and then refresh, I should also see the tutor details and also the batch details. So you as a parent, you can also see all the tutors that are available, so that if you're interested, you can also enroll for the other tuitions that the other tutors are providing. You can come here, and as you can see, it only shows the days that the batch is taken. And so now if I come back here, so you, as a parent, you cannot mark the payment as done, so it is all with the tutor. So if you come here and come down and look for the student, and if you say the payment is done. All right, so now we already spoke about the technology and infrastructure that we have used. So what this experience proved that you don't really have to be a coder or a developer in order to build the applications. All you need to do is a clear understanding of the problem and clearly communicate that with the AI tool, and rest everything it takes care. What used to take weeks now can be accomplished in hours using AI. So the real shift with AI is not just the automation,